Hey guys, May 9th, 2010, perfect game. The Battery, Dallas Braden and Landon Powell. Been very fortunate over my career to coach students of the game, and these two guys are at the top of my list. Landon Powell, one of the greatest catchers that I've ever coached, great receiver, unbelievable gun behind the dish, called a great game. Dallas Braden, what a student of the game. I know I talked 2 weeks ago on the webinar about how I had guys that I listened to when I'm formulating my game plans in pitching. And with Dallas doing TV, I'm fortunate enough to be around him a lot during the season, and he's a guy that I pick his brain. And just to be able to coach these two guys was awesome, but to be able to watch him throw a perfect game is unbelievable. Some good stories about both of these guys. I remember Landon Powell was catching, guy threw a pitch to his glove side, kind of rode him out. Landon rode the ball out, caught it, went behind his back, and threw the runner out at second base. Probably one of the greatest throws I've ever seen in baseball. But then he repeated himself. We're in San Antonio, Texas. We threw a wild pitch. Landon went and got it out by the first base dugout. Guy tried to go first to third. We're all yelling, no, no, no. Landon picks the ball up, guns the runner out, going to third base. What another unbelievable throw from Landon. And then Dallas, some good stories I have of Dallas that I'll share with you. One of them, Dallas was on a rehab assignment when I was coaching in A-ball. We promoted him halfway through the '05 season to Double-A. And in '06, he was having some issues, and he came back and pitched for us in a game in Bakersfield, and his pitch count was 75 pitches. Well, Dallas goes 72 pitches in 5 innings, perfect baseball, and his day is done. And I tell him his day is done, and Dallas says, "What do you mean my day's done? I got 3 more pitches." And I said to Dallas, Dallas, nobody's going to remember this no-hitter you got going in A-ball when you throw one in the big league. And that's a true story. And not only did he throw a no-hitter, but he threw a perfect game. So another great story with Dallas. I'm in line at a fast food restaurant after the game, and lo and behold, Dallas is in the car behind me with one of his buddies. Next thing I know, I hear a knock on the passenger's door. The dude jumps in my passenger seat, and he's talking about how we're going to get through tomorrow, how we're going to game plan for tomorrow. So, these two guys were unbelievable students. They studied their craft. They loved their game and what they did. And what an honor it is to have them two on the webinar tonight. So Dallas Braden and Landon Powell.
Dallas, whenever I get the question, because I get a lot, the number one questions I get are, who's the toughest the pitcher to face? Who or why do you sprint around the base on a homer? And what's your favorite memory of baseball ever since you've been a kid, whatever? And I always tell them my favorite memory of playing the game is playing in your perfect game. So it's always an honor to be a part of that.
No, but incredible, Rosie. Incredible time for all of us, man. And I think that's obviously, look, that's why we get to hang out today. That's why I know that's why I'm here. At least you have one good day of work, and you make lifelong friends, man. So I'm very fortunate to be able to continue to connect with you guys who are obviously in charge of molding the next great Oakland A's, and for Landon doing the incredible work he's doing at NGU down there, raising the next crop of future pro ball players. So one good day of work, not bad for all of us.
But I feel like that's a tough decision for a lot of high schoolers. Like, do I go in the draft, especially nowadays, because they're younger, right? You have to start younger now.
Well,
it's a small. Go ahead.
So I would say this. I would say this. That's why junior college is something that you need to start to educate yourself on, and what the possibilities are with junior college. Because for somebody like me, I was able to physically mature. I was now around guys who were older than I was, who have been playing this game at a higher level for a longer period of time. I was learning baseball on a whole new level. My coach was a coach in pro ball for 20 years. So I was getting information now that was being given to guys who were a part of the New York Yankee dynasty, right? That guy is now teaching me how to stay inside the ball and why I need to approach the field line to line in the box, why strike one and getting the hitter out in 3 pitches or less is so important. Like, all of that stuff wasn't stuff that was beaten into my head at the high school level. I was left-handed, and I had a really good curveball and a changeup. Curveball completely left town after I got out of high school, but that's why the eyes are on you. You're starting to learn things at a different level. And what I had going into junior college was a very elementary understanding of what I was looking to do at a higher level. So I was able to get bigger. I was able to get physically more mature, understand the game on a deeper and at a higher level. I learned how to study things in real time, because you have to make adjustments in this game. I mean, from pitch to pitch, in between pitches. And if you don't understand, or you aren't given the knowledge on how to do that, what to look for, you're out there naked. You're flying blind. And that is no fun. So if you have the opportunity to start your, what I would consider PhD, to start your master's degree, your doctorate, whatever, that level of education in the baseball world, junior college provides a very, very, very real opportunity to do so, because not everybody's D1 eligible out of high school, whether it's academically or physically and mentally. Not everybody's D1 eligible.
That's right. And Dallas, it sounded like you made a lot of adjustments and you were a student of the game. I feel like nowadays with like velocity, people just want to throw hard. They don't want to learn how to pitch, is what the way I see it. Like they're getting away with just the velocity, and it's like that's the biggest word you see out there. And a guy like you, and like, go ahead, yeah. Go ahead, Dallas.
Well, no, I was just going to say velocity is something that allows the margin for error to increase, right? And Landon can understand this. If he's got a guy that he's catching back there who, like me, is going to rely heavily on being one pitch ahead in the sequence, but also hitting a spot, because if you don't hit your spot, that sequence kind of falls by the wayside, because now you're just trying to throw strikes. You're trying to force contact behind in the count. And the contact that you're going to get when you're behind in the count, that results in home runs. That results in you backing up bases. That's not what we're after here. So velocity increases your margin for error. So if you throw hard and you're competing against guys who aren't great, you can throw a lot more strikes, or maybe get away with not being so fine. But the better those guys at the plate get, the more your velocity doesn't matter, or the less your velocity matters. Because we get to a certain point where you got guys like Landon, Rosie, Kuz, who it can be 100 miles an hour coming in there, but they're geared up to hit 100 miles an hour. You show it to them once and they're going to be ready for it. And that's a very scary thought. So you start to really place a lot of emphasis and value on putting the baseball where you want, as opposed to throwing it really hard.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I always remember playing behind you was fun. You're locating, and you're letting us play. Like, I feel like I got a lot of action behind you when I play with you. And it's fun. That's what keeps it interesting.
Rosie, I'd like to add into that.
Yeah.
I think that I want to use this example because as a college coach, I deal with this all the time. I mean, you go to these showcases and camps and things, and all these kids care about is velocity, like you alluded to. You know, they're paying boatloads of money to go to these baseball ranches and places to do weighted ball programs, because all they care about is trying to gain as much velocity as possible. And I tell them all the time, pitching is like real estate. The most important thing is location. And if you can locate a fastball, you got a shot. Like you got, that's the first thing you need to be able to do, locate a fastball. And I tell the story about the perfect game all the time to my players, because I say, look, I called a perfect game in the big leagues, and the guy never touched 89 miles per hour, never touched 90 in the whole game. And because he knew how to pitch, and he was striking guys out with 87 inside corner because he had set them up looking for something else, and he was hitting his spots over and over. So I believe exactly what Dallas says. You know, velocity helps. That's how I look at it. It's a bonus. It helps you. It's a margin of error. But location is the most important thing you can have as a pitcher. And, you know, I had a guy at my college, North Greenville University. In 4 years, he won 47 games. He was 47-7 in his career in college. And he was an 87, 88 right-handed pitcher. And he could throw 5 pitches for a strike and just put it wherever he wants anytime. And those kind of guys have success. I know that you watch Major League Baseball right now and everyone throws 100, but I feel like the guys like Greg Maddux can pitch at any level against any hitters anytime. And, you know, like Dallas said, you can time a fastball. Kuz will tell you, Rosie will tell you, you know, exactly what he alluded to. You give me a couple pitches, I'm timing a fastball. I don't care if it's 105.
Yeah, and we played with a guy, and Emo, Scott Emerson, the pitching coach for the Oakland A's, had this individual as well, Brad Knox, a right-handed pitcher, 88, 91, maybe sniff a 2 in there, but could cut it, could get it to move. And Landon will tell you, I used to chart him. One of the more difficult guys to chart because he threw like not one single pitch looked the same. Like his slider was different than the slider he just threw before. It did something different. Maybe it was a little flatter. What was that? It was just different. He was great, man. He was good. The margin for error thing starts to come into play, right? Right-handed, the familiarity. So that's where you start to talk about what velocity can provide, what velocity can do for guys.
Here's one thing that I love about Dallas's perfect game is there's an analytical company, right, Dallas? And Dallas can tell you this. This is when you got to start thinking about your analytics and processing the analytics that you like and throw away the other analytics. This analytic company had the nerve to give a report on Dallas Braden's perfect game a B-. How do you throw a perfect game? And this analytic company says, nah, we've seen other games that are A+ games that guys give up 2 or 3 runs on. This guy goes 27 up, 27 down, and they have the nerve to give him a piece of paper that's a B-. Am I right, Dallas? Or am I right?
Very true. Very, very true. And it took all I had not to just take that piece of paper and go, that is cute. That is cute.
No, you guys are awesome. I truly appreciate you guys taking the time. For real. I learned, like I said, a ton. I mean, that's why baseball is the greatest game ever, because we get to learn all these little intricacies of the game. So
anytime. Yeah, if you guys, seriously, anybody out there, you guys have questions, hit me up on the DMs, man. I'm always down to talk baseball. I'm quarantined. We got nothing going on.
I might be have a little more stories about, but we cannot say it now. You got a lot of stories in Puerto Rico.
Escalera, hey, the winter ball. Hey, how's the police chief doing, Ruben? How's the police chief doing?
You see, now we started.
So there you go. Here we go.
There we go. This has been awesome for me. I'm on the East Coast, and I don't get to see a lot of you guys this often. And so it's been really cool to reconnect and see Emo and Dallas and Kuz and Rosie and Corey Lee's on here. I don't even know if Corey remembers me, but I was a bullpen catcher when Corey was pitching at NC State. I mean, he was like a god to me when he was in college. So it's cool to reconnect and see all these faces, and that's what makes baseball so awesome. It's a family, man. It's a small world, and you reconnect with people, and it feels just like old times. So I know we're all missing it, man. We need to get back out there and play some freaking ball.